once again, good morning. We are actually now moving from Fort William to Edinburgh. Had just a really good time in Fort William, kind of a nice little community. It is actually in the shadow of Ben Nevis, which is the tallest mountain in all of the British Isles, which is kind of nice. We didn't see much of it when it was kind of rainy and cloudy, but it was up there somewhere. And then this morning what we're doing is we are going to go turn in our car at the Edinburgh airport, and then we're taking a taxi to go on a cruise. That's right, we are going on Atlas. So we are going on to the World Traveler from Atlas, so let's go.
Oh, look how nice it turned out to be. Hi. How are you? Hi. Good. Watching my step.
Thank you.
The World Traveler.
Ready?
Yep. All right. Wow, this is really nice.
All right, so we are on the Atlas World Traveler. What do you think, Trace?
So far, so good. This is the smallest ship we've been on in a really long time. And so for me, it's trying to remember that you don't have all the things that you would have on one of the mega mast lines.
Quite frankly, this is not at all what you think of as your major cruise lines. In fact, if anything, when you come onto the Atlas World Traveler, think of about how you would be if you're going onto a river cruise. That's the first thing that I thought of as we're coming on the ship. It looks much more like a river ship than that. There's two decent, nice, wonderful lounges. There's a little coffee area, but you don't have any of the big wows. It does have a theater. Now, this ship is actually only a year and 2 days old. In fact, we were talking with one of the crew members that says the ship just had its first birthday 2 days ago, and you actually get that feeling when you went into the theater and it smelled like it was brand new still. It's just a really neat. The thing that really kind of struck me was all the wood along the hallways. It's just a very elegant ship. It doesn't overdo anything. We're really kind of excited about being here. The room is decent. We have a nice sized room here. We're only got like a B1 or B2 veranda, which is kind of the cheapest of the verandas that you can have here. But the veranda size is nice, has nice places to be able to sit. The room is beautiful. You have an included mini bar. That's the other thing that is very interesting about Atlas. Atlas is pretty much all-inclusive with the exception of the excursions. You get 1 gigabyte of Wi-Fi per person. We have a drink package, which basically is almost all of the drinks that are available. There's probably 30% of the drinks that are extra charge, but those aren't all that expensive. The biggest issue we have with the room is there's almost no room for any of your folded clothes. There is huge amounts of room for hanging clothes, but just not a lot of room for your folded clothes, but we're going to make the most of it.
One of the things that we did also want to talk about was the embarkation process. Probably one of the easiest ones I've done. I think our Viking River cruise was a little bit easier, a little bit smoother, but we showed up at the port about 20 minutes early from our taxi. They led us into a waiting area. They checked our passports. We took our pictures with our for our key cards, and then we literally walked onto the ship, which was maybe 50 yards from the port terminal. Really odd getting on the gangway. The stairs were a little bit different. Like I felt myself kind of gripping my feet around the stairs. They were like rounded.
Instead of a flat stairs, they're kind of rounded, which was kind of odd. I mean, this is, I think, the 12th or 13th cruise we've had since in the last 18 months, and that's the first time we had that. The other issue that the other thing we kind of see is the crew very relaxed, which we really kind of like. I just kind of like this cruise line so far. Now it's very early in the cruise, but I really kind of like it. The one thing that is kind of a flashback to pre-pandemic is we actually had a full-blown muster drill where I actually had to wear your life preservers. You go down to your muster drill, couldn't have drinks, couldn't have anything, and you just stood there as they give you the instructions. And if you have cruised at all since the post-pandemic, I think we've gotten kind of spoiled with just going in and checking your ID card at your muster station you're on. But pretty good start.
And I see why they do their muster drill. They take it a lot more seriously. This is an expedition level ship. This is not your mass market. This is a very small ship. And I imagine that the crew are multitasked, do a lot of things. So it is incumbent upon the passengers to really understand. There were 2 lifeboats, 200 people per lifeboat, and then they have 2 extra emergency lifeboats. So really knowing where you're at, because there might be rough seas. These ships are really geared towards going to Antarctica. So very much, I think that is why the muster drill is a lot more intense than we have been on in a really long time.
Speaking of Antarctica, we are actually going to be taking the sister ship of the World Traveler. We're going to be going on the World Navigator to Antarctica. So that's coming up. Oh, by the way, we have a room tour. Go on, click on this video to see that room tour. And as always, keep on traveling.